What's up, everybody? Daniel here for another video for the channel. As you can see, I am back in my old spot. Just finished doing some burpees, and I want to touch base on a reflection. This is something that could help you guys. I think it's more so for me, just basically talking to the camera and giving myself and you guys some value. But essentially, what I've discovered, that I think is a pretty big discovery for me because I've always been in the paradigm of having to chase and competition. I think this is something for me that has been a shift I needed to make as I got older. Um, Also realizing, working with my coach Mike, um, that everything starts from you. So, sorry, just finished doing burpees. Didn't mention that. My frequency is pretty high, so I want to make the video based off that. But essentially, most of my life, due to, you could say, internal lack, I've chased all the things that I've been able to get in my life, that being like relationships, any kind of business opportunities. Um, Physique, I think, has always been a part of me. That's the one thing I never had to chase because I always grew up playing sports, and just from a young age, there was something that was kind of just instilled in me in terms of like just the work ethic with sports, the passion for it. My dad is from Argentina, and my mom is from Ecuador, so I have that, football blood, you could say, and I've always watched it growing up and had love for it. And family events have always been surrounded by stuff like that, so that's never been an issue. But I think the other two areas of relationships and business per se have always been things that I didn't have a proper understanding of, so I always felt like I had to chase, and that was a big um, paradigm of just coming from lack. And essentially, what I've realized this year is, everything starts from discovering who you are in every area. That's a line I heard today, and if you understand what it means, it's pretty crazy. But if you don't, I mean, you're still in that paradigm, and you have to maybe do some more chasing to get out. I'm not too sure, but essentially, discovering who you are is basically walking the path without the result in mind. And you know, discovering who you are means, as opposed to like having the result in mind and thinking, okay, I'm only a success or achieving something if I get the results. You actually can get two birds with one stone per se, because one, you're not even focused on the results, and you're just doing the things to, you could say, get the result, but just more discover who you are in that area to see whatever result you can get. It's um it's basically, doing to attract as opposed to doing to chase. And that is one thing that I've had to remind myself over and over. I mentioned this in my other video, but I've had recently a problem of realizing that I have a, tendency to overthink. I think a lot of people have that issue, but they don't realize how much of the devil it is. Overthinking is just basically you trying to control a situation that you literally have no control over in many different ways, many different variables. The only one that controls things really is the one upstairs, God Himself. Um, the only thing you can do is basically put your faith in what He has in store for you. You could say it's destiny or fate, but I think, I've come to realize that every person was put here with a specific purpose. You yourself watching included. You may think you've, just been put here to maybe chase money, that society tells you, chase that relationship, chase those material goods. But you've been put here to give something, and also experience different things. Those are the two things I'm realizing. Like I said, it just goes back to discovering who you are in every area. So whatever area you're working on right now, it's not about getting the results to become, or it's not getting the result to see who you are. It's seeing who you are first and getting results as a consequence. If you understand what I just said, that's a pretty big line. But we've been programmed to do, to have, and then experience being that person. But it's the other way around. It's being that person first. And like I said, it's basically not having the result in mind at all. If you think back to anything that you've achieved, unconsciously, um, or effortlessly, it's always been when you haven't been thinking about it and kind of just attracted into your life. Could be a relationship, could be a business opportunity. It could be maybe the physique, just going to the gym, not worrying about, looking at yourself in the mirror while you're doing the reps, but essentially just, you know, putting the work, discovering who you are through like the pain, the discipline of getting up every day, tracking your macros, getting your steps in, doing everything you need to do to get the result, but not having the result in mind, not having this like hurry. I think that's one thing that I've discovered. I have is like this hurry for the result because, I want to experience me with that result, but it's, we're forgetting the result and experiencing that person as he attracts the results, or he or she. So if it's a woman watching this, but these are just reflections I've had that I want to share with you guys. This is not nothing written. This is just like I said, me talking to me and reminding myself of the things I've learned recently, but also giving you guys value. Because like I said, in society, I've realized that everything is positioned for you to chase, and any circle you're in, most regular circles, everyone has a mentality of like, what you've been doing, what you've been getting after. Like it's the whole vocabulary of it, and like chasing the result or whatever it is you're trying to get. Everything is attracted, and if you, like I said, you look back at everything that you've achieved, everything has been attracted, whether you understood it or not, or realized it or not. Every relationship you've been in, every business opportunity you've gotten, any money you've made has always been attracted. You can't control all these different things that you've been trying to get in your life. And it's only when you really let go and focus on the person and experimenting and experiencing that person in that area, which is you in whatever area you're working on right now or have focus on, then that's when things start to really pick up. And like I said, this is something you begin to put into practice. Like, sorry, right now, especially if you get the line, you're here to, the line is your soul is here to experiment who they are in every area of life. So, it could be relationships, health, wealth, what else? Spirituality. Those are more main four areas: relationships, um, physical health, business, wealth, and then spirituality. And those four areas, especially for men, have to always be, I would say, somewhat in balance. You can't have one where you're maybe have so much money, but your physique, you're just fat. You have no spirituality. You're just chasing the devil with vices and stuff like that. It has to be somewhat of a balance, and that's the whole goal for any man. I think for women, I don't touch too much on the topic because it's different for everyone. But that's one thing I started to understand. But like I said, whatever you're chasing and you have frustration or like there's this hurry or like you're basically just overthinking and putting stress on yourself, like I have been recently, listening to the devil as opposed to having faith in God and just letting go and focusing on who you are first and foremost and attracting as a result, then applying this video will be huge for you if you understand. Just basically, yeah, just letting go, getting your spiritual side up, looking to just connect. I think connecting is the biggest thing I've done this year, coming from last year. Just being able to walk outside every morning, wake up at 4:40, and first thing you do is go walk in the morning when no one's around. You put on music and you're just able to connect. And I was speaking with this with my coach, and it feels better than any drug I've taken. I've experimented, obviously, not all drugs, but many different drugs when I was in my party boy era, and it's incomparable because first off, you're doing it sober. There's nothing you're taking or popping or drinking or whatever it is you have to do. It's you literally connecting to the source and having this buzz, and it's crazy the experience I've been able to have just doing that. One way to connect as well as burpees. That's why I've done burpees. It's more of a spiritual exercise than an actual exercise, physical exercise. Once you do, I would say do 100 a day, every day, and just the suffering, it soon goes past your body and just goes into your mind as well as your spirit. So when those stop, break down for whatever reason, your body first, then your mind, then your spirit comes into play. So, bit of a long reflection, but the point is begin to focus on who you are in this very moment and not focusing on who you'll be once you get results. That's the purpose of this, is understanding that you're doing it backwards. It's focusing on who you are every single day as you're going through the actions of whatever you're working on, and the results will come as a consequence faster that way because you have no attachment. There's no chasing, there's no repelling as a result of chasing, and it just naturally comes to you if it's meant to come to you. Because, like I said, there's things at play that you don't see if you're just focusing on the physical. And God has plans for you. He's going to give you the results when you deserve it, or He feels like you're ready. Sometimes, you getting the results when you think you need it will actually destroy you. There's a saying that goes, sometimes God destroys your plans because He knows your plans will destroy you. So whatever, if you're in that inward focused mindset of like, why am I not getting it? You're rushing, then begin to understand that you as a person have to change first. The result will come as a consequence, and then everything else will start to align itself with the person you become. So if you got some value from it, like and subscribe. You have my Instagram down below. You'll see it's more, sharing my journey on food, but just kind of going into all realms. Like I said, discovering who I am in this one area right now, that experimenting more of a spirituality and just seeing where that leads me. So hope you got some value. Hope to see you in the next video. And if you say tell this one, much love. Appreciate you guys. Other than that, all the best. And as always, keep killing it.